Hello everyone, this is Zetsubo, and I'm bringing you a first look on the newest League of Legends champion, Braum. Braum is a support champion, a melee tank-based champion. So I'm gonna pick Relic Shield first. Now I am only silver, but so this won't be an in-depth gameplay or mechanics preview, but this will be just my impressions on the champion regarding playstyle and fun factor, and just overall playability. I loaded up a fully custom game with only bots, so we can check him out at our own pace. I am playing from Europe, so I have a bit of high ping to the PBE environment. First up, Braum's passive, concussive blows. What it basically does is, when we deal a basic attack, the enemy gets a mark, and then me and allies can re-trigger the mark up to 4 times, and the fourth stack will trigger a stun for, I think, half a second. Oh, 1.25 seconds. All right. It feels like a short stun. I think it's a bit longer stun than like a Nautilus passive. Like if I hit him now, stun. There we go. So that's actually a really interesting and pretty decent passive to begin with. Like repeatable stuns is always good in a bot lane. You have to work for it, of course, but still, it's good. Like for instance, Lucian paired with Braum is excellent, because Lucian's passive will trigger 2 shots, and both shots will trigger Braum's passive. So you get 2 for the price of 1, literally. Now the first skill we're gonna skill is the Q, and the Q is a poke ability. So what it does is just a range attack which slows, and it also stacks the Braum passive. So you can use it to stack passives from range, which is of course very nice and pretty much exactly what you want. Again, I'm actually pretty low here. The second skill we're gonna take is, I think, yeah, this one, the W. The W is a targeted leap. So what it does is you can target an ally, jump to him, and then he gets a set of defensive bonuses for a short while. Yeah, you see the shield effect that both me and Nidalee got. So the bonuses stack for both of us, not just the AD carry, which is nice. It whiffed my Q there, but well, it's cool. So yeah, the idea is that you can get you can jump to your ADC to render him 8, which is of course a very useful tool for a support. And then finally we come to the E ability, which we're gonna skill next, and that is Unbreakable. And Unbreakable basically summons a shield in a targeted direction. Like, as you can see, the mark, it's always in front, right in front of you when you activate it. And then the shield stays in place for a while, but you can move while the shield is up. Your movement speed is a bit decreased, but you can still move while using it. So the idea is that you jump to a target with the W, and then you E to shield him, and then you can follow the ADC while you're shielding. Well, once my ADC comes back, I'm gonna try and and demonstrate a bit how that effectively works. So noodle is here, and what we can do is E in the forward direction, like this, and then we can move, and then we can move along with our ADC and shield him from attacks. The first attack is fully negated, and subsequent attacks deal 30% reduced damage. And it also makes all projectiles hit Braum, so your ADC is basically untouched. But you can also only cancel out one attack. So it has some similarities with Yasuo's Wind Wall in the sense that it blocks projectiles, but Yasuo's Wind Wall blocks everything, and Braum's will only block the first one. And any subsequent attacks are then redirected towards Braum, which can have its own uses. Nidalee missed the spear, so we can't kill him. I missed my Q. Should have queued. Misfortune, but it's cool. Now, this is actually the first thing I'm noticing now playing him. Like I could go aggressive with the Q and then get in an auto attack, and then if the ADC is paying attention, you can get a nice stun off. But I might die here. Okay. But after that, your initiation is actually pretty much gone. Because your W and your E while trading when you're aggressive, it doesn't actually do anything. It's at the moment when damage is coming back, that's when the W and the E are useful. So these skills are actually almost 100% disengage. It can be used aggressively, like if someone is diving, you can jump to them and then Q forward, so you have some aggro potential, I guess. But my first impression is that Braum is more like a passive laner who bails you out when you're in trouble. Like if the opposing bot lane picks a bad fight, Braum can really punish them, and then he's really good. But I don't think he's gonna be too much of an aggressive support. He's just gonna play the bodyguard, try to interfere as much as possible, use the Q for some ranged harass, and then when you get ganked or stuff is going bad, you might get a killer. Nice. Yeah, if you get into a sticky situation, Braum can get you out, but making a situation sticky, that's in my opinion doesn't seem to be his strong suit. Pre-6, I'm talking about pre-6, because now that I got to 6, we come to the ult, and the ult is actually very interesting. It is a line skill shot with a knock-up. It also has a quite nice damage component. There we go. It also leaves a slow field, so people running over it will also be slowed. Come on, Nidalee. I'm gonna pick it up. There we go. So pre-6, he's not that much of an aggressor or an initiator, but after hitting 6, as you can see, that ult is actually a pretty nice initiation tool. The range isn't too long, but long enough to get a team fight starting. The only problem is if you use it to initiate, then the targets will probably be around like over here, so they can get out of the slow field really easy. But if you use the ult to disengage, then it's actually gonna be really hard, because there probably will be people really close to you in the middle of the slow field, and the rest of the backline will back off, so it has the potential to split to split a team if they don't disengage from your ult correctly. So in that sense, the ult actually has a lot of similarities with like Nami's wave, in that it can both be used for engage and disengage. But I feel Nami's ult is better for disengage because it's a little wider. It has longer distance. But it also has a bit of a slower travel time. Whereas Braum's is pretty much instant, but it has a shorter range and a shorter width. So overall, I think Braum's ult is better for engaging, but Nami's ult is better for disengaging. But the overall idea of the ults is similar. Which makes his kit overall pretty balanced. You have a ranged poke, you have good disengage abilities, you have a solid engage after 6, and you have built-in CC with the passive. Now, for ganks pre-6, the CC is not reliable, so that's not something you can count on when you get ganked that you're gonna get a stun off. But nice. But normally the WE combo should be enough to get you out of trouble. She's running just out of range. Yeah. So overall, he feels pretty good. I don't get a feeling that there's something like completely uber overpowered. Mobility-wise, he feels good. Like he can get back to safety pretty easily with the W by jumping back. But he can't jump walls or bypass terrain easily without help. Like you can do tricks like ask your jungler to stand on the cliff and then jump over, but that's, in my opinion, a bit limited. It's not like Lucian's E or Nidalee's Pounce or stuff like that. Now I'm pretty sure you have to skill Q first because it deals quite a lot of damage and it's the main poke tool. But I'm not sure what the order is then, because I think this scales the damage reduction, like the armor and magic resist bonus you give goes up by levels. But the E increases in duration and damage reduction as well. So I'm not sure which of the two is actually the most important. In lane, I'd say the E, but for team fights, it's W. So I guess it's E first for laning, and then W. But I think in games where you go like where there's a very short laning phase, it might be that you skill the W first. As you can see, that was actually a pretty nice example of using the W to reposition. Like I was all the way on the bottom here, and they engaged on Nidalee, and I could just use the W to get in their faces, place myself between my AD carry and the opponent, and then use my skills to disengage. The silly bot then went too aggressive and died, but normally that would just be an ult and they would run away and we would be safe. And if we had a good ADC, then we might re-engage and kill them, but no. It is still a melee champion, so there, and that's something to think about. But overall, I think he has a pretty fun playstyle. You can do some pretty cool plays with him. Like I imagine there's gonna be a ton of heroic saves with this guy. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I forgot that the E is actually targeted. Like you select it, you activate it, and then you can position this shield. That's why it threw me off a bit. I forgot that it wasn't fixed. So if you press E, you get the marker and you can place it wherever you want. It doesn't get automatically placed right in front of you. That was a bit of a mistake from me. Visual wise, I don't think I have to explain how awesome he is. It's a huge dude with a mustache and a shield as large as he is, though. So yeah, I think concept wise and you know, graphics wise, he's very well thought out and very well executed. And an important criteria for a cheapskate like me who rarely buys skins is that his base skin is really good. I think it's actually better than the release skin, the red one. Also, always an important note. So yeah, overall, as I play a ton of support in ranked games, so I'm very happy with this guy. It's a solid addition, I think, to the League of Legends roster. It's gonna be used a ton, and rightly so. Oof. Karth is owning us. Yeah. Many people have started to compare him a bit like Thresh, in that he feels like there's a ton of stuff to do, which there is. He has a ton of little interactions and mechanics, which make him feel quick to learn and hard to master. And in that I compare him a bit to like Lucian. Lucian is when you look at him, he looks like a very basic ADC, but he has a lot of tiny interactions that make playing him, that if you play him correctly, he just becomes insane. You can do good on Lucian by playing the basics, but you can make a ton of difference when you play Lucian correctly. And I feel like this guy has a bit of the same vibe. Everyone who knows how to play support will do decent on Braum, but there will be players that just completely wipe the floor with people, with this guy. But not in a Thresh way. I think Thresh is really on the border of being OP, just because he has so many interactions. On the face of it, none of his skill set or his stuff is really overpowered. It's just that he has so many interactions and things to do that, yeah, which makes him a must play for everyone. And this guy comes close, but he feels a bit. He's a little bit off of Thresh level, but he comes really close, and that's actually in my opinion, exactly where Riot should be with a support. It doesn't have to be exactly trash level, but if they can approximate it, that's perfect. It's excellent. I haven't mentioned it yet because I used it a few times, but I was a bit too busy focusing on the game. But you can use a W on minions, friendly minions, which is actually very handy. You might have noticed a while back I used my W on the minion wave to close a gap. Like the Alistair was running away from me, and I could just W to a minion, close the gap, and chase. So in that sense, his mobility is good, but he needs help. He needs allies. He needs minions or other champions to help him out. And I think that's a good element to add. You don't have just a targeted dash or something like that that you can use anytime you want. But you have to work a bit for your mobility, and you have to use it wisely, and that's good. Adds a little bit of skill to the game, and makes him less abusive. Makes it less easy to abuse him. Thank you, Nidalee. That was actually really cool. I don't think the bot is clever enough to do that, but she was out of range of my W, and then she stopped for a second, so I could W to her and get out of the misfortune range. So I don't think it's programmed that way, and I just got lucky. Oh, damn. Might be able to pick him up here. Oh. Oh, nice. So yeah, I always like supports where you have tons of stuff to do and tons of options. Thresh is an obvious example, but another support I really like is Lulu, and she has the same vibe. Like she has so many options in a fight, and that's always interesting to do and to use. So there you go. That was those are my first impressions of Braum. Overall, I'm very positive for this guy. I'm practically 100% sure that they're gonna use him in the LCS as well. He's just too versatile to not use. Thinking of the support pool right now, I think it's Thresh, Karma, Morgana. Some people play Leona. I think this guy should be a nice addition to that pool. Yeah, I'm convinced. I will pick this guy up at launch, definitely. So I have something to play when Thresh is banned out. Or when I'm just tired of him, want to play something else. Nah, I can't pick him up. Yeah, Braum. I'm a fan. Definitely a fan. Alright, I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully this guy comes out soon so everyone can enjoy him. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys the next time. Bye bye.